All right, here we go. First video of Chapter 6. Now, this is review of Algebra 1. Some of the things that you did back in the day. First of all, remember, a to the m plus a to the m is 2a to the m. Don't start making up any fancy rules yet. This is just combining like terms. Now, it's for everything else, and when it's not addition or subtraction, it's got the fun rules. So, what do you do if you're multiplying the same variable that has different exponents? The answer, you add them. So this is a to the m plus n. When you multiply a variable with exponents, you add the exponents. When you raise a variable to an exponent to another exponent, that's when you multiply. So this is a to the m times n. When you divide, you subtract. So this is a to the m minus n. Anything raised to 0 is 1. That's an old school rule. Negative exponents. That means they'd rather be on the other level. So this is 1 over a to the m. The negative exponent means reciprocal. So if a to the m is unhappy being at top, he's negative, he'd rather be positive downstairs in the bottom. You are allowed to distribute. It's kind of like distributing an exponent to terms inside parentheses as long as it's not adding or subtracting. So a times c raised to the m can be a to the m times c to the m. And same with division. Division is allowed as well. This can be written as a to the m over c to the m. Now again, when you are adding or subtracting, do not confuse these rules. Now again, this is Algebra 1 review, but of course you know in this class we are going to amp this up to mind-blowing proportions. So let's start by simplifying with numbers. So evaluate the expression. That means give a numerical value, but I only really require you to go up to like 4 or 5 digits in a number. Okay, if you have to do something like 10 to the 15th power, don't bother. Just write 10 to the 15th. So, using our rules, when you raise an exponent to another exponent, you multiply. So this is 3 to the negative 8. But we don't like negative exponents. We'd rather them be positive. So this becomes 1 over 3 to the 8th power. Exact same, you just put them downstairs and make them positive. What is 3 to the 8th? That's reasonable. It's 1 over 6,561. And of course, use your calculator to get that number. So we have a set of parentheses. There's division inside. So we can write this as 5 to the 3rd over 8 to the 3rd. 5 to the 3rd is 125. 8 to the 3rd power is 512. We cannot simplify that. We're done. So again, just leave it alone. So C, this one, we have, the key to this one is that we have the same number inside. It's like having the same variable. So we have a negative 3 and a positive 9. We are multiplying. So when you multiply the same base, the exponents, you add. So negative 3 plus 9 is 6. So this is saying negative 2 to the 6th power, which is 64. Again, you don't have to know how to do all that in your head. You just have to have a calculator. So finally, the last one. The first thing you want to do here is you got to simplify the bottom a little bit. So when you are raising exponents to other exponents, and since there's no plus sign on the inside, this is 9 times 4 to the 5th power over, we have 4 to the 15th, and 9 to the negative 5th power. So remember, we're subtracting here. So we have 9 to the 1 up top, and we have 9 to the negative 5 down in the bottom. So that means, first of all, the 9 to the negative 5 on the bottom wants to jump up to the top. So he wants to be added to the top. Or 1 minus a negative 5 will still tell you that this is 9 to the 6th power. And now we have 4 to the 5th on top, 4 to the 15th on the bottom. We have 15 4s on the bottom, 5 on top. That means you subtract 15 minus 5, and we have 4 to the 10th on the bottom. Now this one you can just leave alone. We don't want to type that into the calculator. You're going to get numbers that are just way too big to want to write down, so just go right ahead and leave it alone. So that's evaluating because we had no variables. We could actually get numerical answers for these. Now the back side of these notes, we're going to start simplifying with variables. Okay, now this is where some of the good fun stuff is going to happen. Just make sure you know the rules and take it one step at a time. Right now, some of these problems might take us 4 or 5 steps. I tell you right now, that's nothing in comparison to what we're going to be doing. They'll be getting a lot longer than that. So, we have division here. We also have parentheses. So our first step on this is a to the 6th over c to the negative 9. Are you allowed to have? No, you're not. So let's just write this as a to the 6th, c to the 9th. Okay, and now you're done. There's nothing else you can do to simplify this. You can never subtract or anything like that when you have 2 different variables. Just remember, don't ever write a final answer with a negative exponent. Don't do it. Not allowed. Okay, next one. First thing you want to do is simplify this. So this is going to become negative y to the 10th. We can write it like that for a second, but think about it. This is going to become positive, so this is just y to the 10th. All right? And now we have times y squared, and we have times y to the negative 12. Look, it's y, it's okay. So 10 plus 2 plus a negative 12 is y to the 0, which means the solution to this is 1. That's simplified all the way. So C and D, why don't you try pausing them and see if you can handle it on your own, and as soon as you're ready, press play. So for this guy, we have rs squared over, we can bring that guy, so this is r to the 3rd and s to the negative 3. So that means that s to the 3rd power wants to go upstairs. So it looks kind of like this. We have r, s squared, s cubed all over r cubed. So let's simplify. We have 1 r on top. We have 3 r's downstairs. So that means we're going to have just r squared in the denominator. But we have not 2, not 3, but 5 s's on top. Because s squared times s to the 3rd, we add our exponents, so we have s to the 5th. So this guy is done. The next one. What you should have done first, careful now. What's 3 cubed? It's 27, not 9. The rules that apply before you learned this are still the same. 3 cubed is still 27. It's only when you take an exponent do you multiply. So 2 times 3 is 6. Over 6 x to the 5th power. So 27 over 6 still reduces. We do not subtract. They are numbers. So 27 over 6 is going to reduce to 9/2. And then we have 6 x's on top, 5 on the bottom. That's going to simplify to 9x over 2. And you are done. Okay, so we have 4 more examples in these notes. They get a little bit trickier, but worse is coming in the future. So why don't you go ahead, there's 4 more, there's the first 3. Go ahead and pause the video and try them and see if you can handle them on your own. So let's see. For this guy, we're going to have x to the 56 over y to the 32 times y to the 30th over x to the 30th. Now, you can leave it like that, or there's a little shortcut. Since it's multiplication, you could actually just get rid of that dot and extend the whole fraction. So you have 56 x's on top and you have 30 on the bottom. So 56 minus 30 is x to the 26th over, you have 32 y's in the bottom, 30 on top, that's y squared. Do not get fancy and think that you can reduce 26 over 2 because you have 2 different variables, so you are done. With this next one, there is a big trick that I highly recommend that you do first. Don't waste your time distributing a -5 to everything on the inside. Write it as a +5. Remember, a negative exponent means reciprocal. So just write the inside as a reciprocal. Put the bottom on the top and put the top on the bottom. Now go right ahead and say that 2 to the 5th power is 32. And this is going to become k to the 15th, because an exponent to another exponent means multiply. M to the 45 all over 3 to the 5th power is going to give you 243. 5 times 5 is 25, so that's k to the 25th. And m to the 8 times 5 is m to the 40th. And now simplify. 32 over 43 actually cannot be reduced. But we have 15 k's on top, 25 on the bottom, so there's more k's downstairs, so that's where the party goes. We have 45 m's on top and only 40 on the bottom, so we're going to have the party up top, so we have m to the 5, and now you are done. Okay, G. This one is going to take us for a nice little ride. Obviously, you see we have multiplication again. So what you might want to do here is first simplify each group before you multiply. So the first thing we have here is we have 4 and we have AC to the -4. Not much we can do with that yet. But this is going to turn into 9a squared times, and then there's really not much you can do. I mean, you want to get rid of those parentheses. So we're going to have our -6, a to the -3, c to the 5th, all over 40, a to the 5th, c to the -7th, and d to the -5th. Now, you have a couple of options that you can do from here. One of them is to simplify the left fraction and simplify the right fraction. I advise doing it a shorter way. Multiply across the top and multiply across the bottom, then simplify once. Otherwise, what you're going to do, you'll simplify the first one. That's simplifying once. You're going to simplify the second one. Now you're simplifying twice. Now you're going to multiply across the top and bottom, and then you're going to have to simplify again. So you're going to have to simplify 3 times. So if you do it this way, if you multiply across the top, you're going to end up with a -24. We have a and a to the -3. So remember, when you multiply, you add. So 1 minus 3 is a to the -2. And then we have c to the -4 and c to the 5th. So that's c to the 1st. And then on the bottom, 9 times 40 is 360. And then we're going to have a squared times a to the 5th, which is a to the 7th. We have our c to the -7 and our d to the -5. So it's bigger, but now look, you only have to simplify one time. So -24 over 360 is going to reduce to -1 over 15. And now we're going to look at our a's. We have 2 a's that want to go downstairs where there's already 7 a's. So that's going to be a to the 9th. And we're going to have 7 c's that want to go upstairs where there already is 1. So we have c to the 8th. And we have 5 d's in the basement that want to be upstairs. So we have d to the 5th. And now you are done. So again, if you want to do it the other way, where you simplify, simplify, multiply, simplify, remember you'll be simplifying 3 times instead of just once. So finally, the last one in the notes. The first thing you want to do is take the reciprocal, change this to a 3, and that's going to give us the bottom we can bring to the top. So 8, a to the -4, c to the 5th. And then we're going to have our 4, a to the 5th, and why even write c to the 0? He's gone. We don't need him. So now what are you going to do? Obviously, if you want, you can distribute the 3, or you can simplify first. I'm going to show you another way to do this problem because I like giving you options. So we have -8 over 4. That's going to end up being a -2. And we have 5 a's downstairs, 4 that want to go downstairs from the top. So that's going to be a to the 9th on the bottom. And we have c to the 5th on top. And now we have this cubed. Since we've already simplified the inside, remember, odd raised to an or a negative raised to an odd power is still negative. So that's going to give us a negative 8 c to the 15th all over a to the 27th, and you are done. So that's simplifying for you. A lot of fun, as you can see, and no joke, we're going to be getting to a lot crazier stuff than this. So that's that. This is the first video of Chapter 6. There's more to come. This is Longo, and I am out. See you, bye.